This is day 1077 of the Arukh HaShulchan Yomi. Thanks, sponsor Commissioner of the Arukh Yomi. Please call me directly. Very greatly appreciate it. I got new glasses today, and they don't have anti-glare protection because last time I got anti-glare protection, my previous glasses basically ended up flaking after a while and making the glasses difficult to use. So I'm going to try and only get the glare away if I speak at an angle like that. So I'm going to try and give the shiur, usually without the glasses, for that purpose. Today we are, to avoid the purpose of avoiding the glare. Today we are doing you're there, Siman Tzadik Hey, Sif Yud Ches to Chav Daled. Yud Ches. So we are speaking now about the Ramah, and we're explaining what he says about the kelim which come into contact with each other, or don't. One of the kelim is not ben yomo. I call mutter. Everything is mutter. The ben yomo mutter nation bolam. Ben yomo. The ben yomo is going to be mutter because it absorbs whatever absorbs from something which is not ben yomo. And ben yomo mutter afshu bolam ben yomo. And the ain't ben yomo is mutter even if it absorbs from the ben yomo, because zeu not barnat de etera. It's not barnat de etera. The came with the ben yomo lo ne'asar, since the ben yomo itself doesn't become asar lo ne'asar mimela, which it doesn't become it also doesn't the other plate doesn't become asar. The shkol plitos are avishal heter, because all the platos are of heter, right? In other words, let's say the ben yomo is fleshik, a ben yomo is milchik, can become basar b'chalav. So therefore, the flesh, all the emissions are not by the tera. But if they're both bnei yomon, b'diachos and b'yab kli rishon, and you rinse them together in a kli rishon, also everything is also. Is adding that even if you didn't wash the plates in a milchik pot or milchik dishpan, but you rinse them both in a, so to speak, neutral kli rishon, also plate because of the emissions which get mixed up. But if you do one after another, it's permissible. Came several times since the tastes don't get mixed up. Having not by not tetera, so then it be because not by not tetera. Came cliche, pashas do the mutter. And the klisheni, it's obviously mutter. Kaim on klisheni, eino aloma fleet veloma vlia. Klisheni does not cause emissions nor cause absorptions. There's a tshuva written by Moshe Feinstein in the 1950s, I believe. Some rabbi asked to come up with an isser on having one sink without inserts. Either people have two sinks or they should have inserts, dishpans to use. And Ramosha has a long tshuva, which he says it's, even though it's a wonderful thing, it's not in necessary mikradin, and he doesn't want to come up with a chumrah, which is maybe some tzibur and yochel lamoba. But in any event, so therefore he comes down and says mikradin, you don't need two sinks. First of all, it's a klisheni, and besides that, to usually wash the dishes separately. So therefore, like Arukh HaShulchan says here, as long as they're washing the dishes at the same time, it would not be a problem. Nevertheless, Klal Yisrael is machmir on this. You test. I feel even if it's not ben yomo, if fat is clean, then there's 60 in the corresponding to. Oh, there's also the dish soap, which would take care of this problem. You test, which otherwise might be a problem. If there is fat adhering to them, there's 60 in the water. Corresponding to the fat. If the fat is on both of them, they're both asur. If the fat is on clinging to one of them, the one which has the fat is mutter. Because it's absorbing from the other keli, which is not a ben yomo. Also, the one which doesn't have fat is asur, the boleh because it's absorbing the fat. One is within 24 hours, the other is not within 24 hours. There's or the fat on one of them. If the fat is the one that's not ben yoma, I call asur. And the asur that bas yoma the one which is within 24 hours, Bala Mea Shuman absorbs from the fat. Shena Bas Yoma, the one which is not Bas Yoma, Bala Mea Bas Yoma, it absorbs from the one which is a Bas Yoma. V'ima Shuman Davuk Ba Bas Yoma, if the oil clings to one which has been within 24 hours, Himuteres, it's permitted. Va'ashniya Asura Kamuvan, and the second one is the one which becomes forbidden. That's from Pri Chodesh. Chaf. But that, you should know, Lichor en is the Shamar L'das Machmin Elakos Kli Rishon Shel Bosa B'Cholab. This should only apply to pots and pans, stuff which use a Kli Rishon with Bosa B'Cholab. The Kli Sheni and Kli Shlishi, if it's a Kli Sheni, Kli Shlishi, no one has some element Isa Gomer. Normal plates, cups, and it never became truly also. Lo b'davar Isa, lo Bosa B'Cholab. Now with any Dover Isa, nor is any Bosa B'Cholab. It came in Miduchu Yad Karos V'Teller V'Kapos, if you rinse together the serving plates and the eating plates and the spoon, shel milk and a meat. V'yachad together, b'kli rishon, even a kli rishon leisamba. Maybe a problem. The korashlan ain't tashishan kli sheni. We only use our plates as kli sheni. We spill from the pot into the plate. Sometimes even the kli shlishi. There's a serving spoon. Hello, iri and mavliya, and pouring. I'm very skipped. The filuk sheshofech, and even if you pour ma'aramek dera el kara, from the pot to the plate. In other words, iri rishon hits the plate. Hello, iri ena mafliya klipa. Iri it does create absorption of emissions, but only kedei klipa. The koshkein teller harein kli shlishi, and certainly the small plates they are kli shlishi. Chena kapos, and that's the spoons as well. On the Nambal Isra Arukh HaSav, the Isra writes, "Gam b'koras teller about kapos nesu shidicham shel chol v'shabos yachad." Even the serving plates and the personal plates and the spoons become also when you wash milchik and fleshik together. Talmud, the reason is the hidi re'ena klipa. Okay, the irik rishon only asks k'dei klipa, but still. Because he's poured many times from the pot into them. Each time there's a little absorption which remains. The absorption goes in the entire vessel. In other words, penetrates the chenat teller, and so too in the small plate. And they put boiling meat on it. The cholav davar gusha, cholav was there because sometimes a block of boiling milk. Come up such as a milky kugel or something like that. Also, you pour from the plates, from the pot, sometimes directly into the eating plate. Sometimes you stick the spoons directly into the pot. If it's clear to him, even according to this better, if it's clear to a person he didn't use these plates, the large serving ones or the small ones or the spoons, with the kli rishon yesh latir b'shitus, you can be matir no matter what. When somebody comes to ask you shayla, you have to ask them and clarify the circumstances. If you pour from a kli rishon of meat, a kli and a milking vessel, dino kli rishon, it's halachos like kli rishon. Also imu ben yomo, and answers if it is ben yomo. Of course, it's with the klei klipa. But if you were boiling hot water, which is not fleshik or milchik, on kalim, which are milchik, and kalim, which are fleshik together, even there's fat adhering to them, it's all permissible. They ain't iri mamish. Iri is not like a true kli rishon. That it causes the vessels in which it falls to absorb from each other. If you find a milchik spoon among fleshik spoons, we don't assume that they were washed together, but in a way which will make them also kalashana. Try doing that to your wives. It's not going to work. Chabes v'karkosavnu. Receive your gimel, or if your wife listening to this, then pay attention to what it says here. Chabez. Don't think your husband is strafing up the kitchen. Chabez. It's astonishing. Okay, if you're pouring from a fleshik pot on a milchik a vessel, why is that asar hazeh mamish not barnat? It's a not barnat and it should be mutter. But after v'shitasa bishul asar, even according to his opinion that in cooking not barnat is asar, a pasuk b'atzmo b'di'ev mutter. It says it's mutter b'di'evet. The kan lesser a kli avak b'di'evet. Here it's asar kli is like a di'evet. B'yiwei lo shayach iru platos. And when you're pouring, it doesn't make the absorbed substances get mixed together. Therefore, the mutter abirui. Therefore, the great according to Pascha is mutter when you're pouring. For the shuman davak bam, and even if it was oil adhering to them, answer like klipa kedin irui. You only need klipa, peeling like the kalacha of irui. Makom she'ir shali klof, and where it's not possible to do klipa like a plate. Mutter, it's mutter k'mosh siman tzadik aleph. It said previously that it's mutter. If you can't do kasher and you can't do klipa, but the evet. Those who wanted to say give reason for the Ramah, the chosh mikulu that we consider the flow of the spilling of the pouring bikli sharimenu, as if it's in a vessel from which we're pouring. That's the taz. Because there's an opinion that nitzo is a chibur. You're pouring has the same status to that which you're pouring from. He says that's going way too far and being machmir in napanat. The bracket says "Gam prima gadim." Ain't Dr. Nechem said prima gadim. Argues on the Taz who says that. I came and to be Rabbeinu Ramah, but since it came out of the Ramah's mouth, since he said yesh lagila kli mishamateches. If it's a metal vessel, you should do agol. And if it's pottery, you shouldn't use it for 24 hours. He says the bracket that is from Agol Zalman Margolios in the base of Ephraim. Chav Gimel. In the opposite direction, they were standing under the Rav Mashaheko, that which is lean, and that which he said if you spill hot water on vessels of basar chav together, it's okay. But since you basket, if you wash them together, kli rishon it's also and pouring does cook k'nei klipa and came violated mavliach k'nei klipa feel b'keli. It must have caused absorption of k'nei klipa even in a vessel. So shach the pri chadash. Ak b'klipa k'shiv shali klof. True, when if it's not possible to peel, or shena klipa nikeres, or the peel is not. I'm not sure what he means by that. The peel is not recognizable. You guys can't assess it, measure it. Lechmir b'zek was habesim tzaykav or not machmir. V'dai shno the iri b'kli mikli iser ben yomo. Oh, if you're borrowing from a kli of iser, treif keli, which is ben yomo. V'adei do iser kli klipa. It's certainly has kli klipa. What the Ramah says here is a chiddush because it's by hetera. But if it's iser, for sure, it's not a question. That was sure that you find a milk spoon among fleshik spoons or vice versa. We don't assume they were washed in a way which causes them. Klomar meaning we don't assume that perhaps they were washed in a boiling pot. And not only that, if people do wash in a kli rishon, God could turn those mutter times fake sveka. This is fake sveka. Maybe they weren't washed. If they were washed, maybe the at the time it was washed, it wasn't within 24 hours of its last use. Again, we don't assume something is also. By default, we assume kalim are not within the last 24 hours of their usage. A few clay, so even the vessels of a Jew, base. It says in the base, which is obviously much further than where we are now. Do we go to the end of Simmons today? No, we go to Chavdalet, which is next sif. It says writes Yura, it seems to me, Shim Nasnu Efer B'Mayim Chamin, Shib Yura, if you put the ashes, which was their soap of the day, in the hot water, in the pot, before you put the plates there, even if oil is clean, then mutter is permissible. The idea, Efer, that through the ashes, noise in time, it gives it off taste. God can show them. First, Farshim argued them Shalom Sadim Zeb Shum place. We don't find this halacha in any poskim. Furthermore, the came Lamakas or poskim Shalagil Lagil Klibas Yoima. Why poskim say not to do kasha or keli in the first 24 hours? You have a tamashak because it gives a good taste. So shishim amay neged abulua, and need 60 if it has good taste to negate those that absorb taste. You know, shem efer, put in their ashes. And to ruin the taste. So Mashom has to be clean median. Also, a Torah kelim neyoma. That which they were within in clean median. It was also if they were within 24 hours. So I should pogum be'efer, make them pogum. Give it by putting in the ashes. Omnam har begedoylim megdon chokol aleim bekimub saksh rabbeinu beis Yosef. But many great authorities argue, and those who argue in the beis Yosef. These issues which they raise are not issues. Obviously, there are many substances. Forget about ashes, which can be pogim. Torah poskim lo dibu rak ba'gola sheidei mayim bilvad. When they're talking about hagola, they're talking about hagola with water only. Vod hagola mhani yedei efer cloud. Also, the hagola does not work with efer. I guess it impedes the proper agola. The widespread minhag by all people, by all rabbis. Nishbach isser basar, when isser or meat falls underneath the milchik pot or lefach or vice versa, but tanur in a oven vayasham efer, and there was ashes there. Makshina tavshi up below shishim. That we say the cooked dish is mutter even at 60. Bosim marketer, we only answer the pot, which is itself a chumrah. Even though those who doubt this, maybe at the first moment it falls, it's not yet pogame. Nevertheless, that's the custom. And our senses indicate that it's nothing more pogame than falling on into the ashes. Even they strain out the ashes, still retains the taste. No person's going to eat it. That's the way Shupaskim, we got Boris, Shakarin Saif. Also, soap, Veneros, Chaleb Shlono, and our candles, which are made of fat, poking our bay, they really ruin the taste. Therefore, if they fall into a cooked dish, they don't asser the cooked dish. And that is all for today.